When the mind grows quiet and the body rests, the invisible laws of the universe begin their most delicate work. In the hush between breaths, in the gentle rhythm of drifting into sleep, you step into a realm where limitation dissolves and divine supply flows freely. Tonight, as you surrender to rest, you enter the fertile field of the subconscious, the sacred workshop where every seed of prosperity is planted, nurtured, and brought into form. Sleep becomes your silent partner in creation, and every dream-laden moment becomes an open door to abundance. There is a wealth frequency that hums beneath the noise of the world, a pure, unwavering vibration of endless good. It has always been present, waiting for you to attune yourself to its rhythm. As you prepare to drift into the realms of sleep, your heart opens, your mind releases resistance, and your spirit aligns with the infinite reservoir of blessings already prepared for you. Riches, seen and unseen, begin arranging themselves on your path, drawn irresistibly by the power of your inner alignment. In this quiet surrender, you speak to your subconscious in the language it understands, feeling, faith, and imagination. You release every tether of fear, every shadow of doubt, and you allow the divine pattern of wealth to imprint itself upon you. Your thoughts become golden threads weaving a tapestry of prosperity. Your breath becomes a gentle reminder that life is always renewing itself, and your rest becomes the gateway through which supply flows without obstruction. As you settle into stillness, you awaken to a truth older than time. Abundance is your birthright. You were created from infinite substance, and you are sustained by infinite supply. No circumstance can diminish the wealth of the universe, and no past experience can define the prosperity that now unfolds before you. As you sleep, you rise in consciousness. As your body grows still, your spirit expands. As your eyes close, your inner vision clears, revealing the path of effortless prosperity. Tonight, you enter a sacred covenant with your higher self. You choose to release old stories of lack, to abandon the worn garments of worry, and to step into the radiant garments of abundance. You become receptive, wide, open to unexpected blessings, divine ideas, inspired opportunities, and gentle miracles. Wealth begins to circulate around you, through you, and to you. Every cell of your being hums in harmony with prosperity's melody, and when the morning comes, you rise renewed, your mind refreshed, your energy awakened, and your path illuminated by the wealth you have aligned with in the night. You step into your day carrying a quiet confidence, a serene assurance that all things are working together for your highest good. You walk in the rhythm of abundance, guided by intuition, supported by the unseen, and uplifted by the unwavering truth that prosperity flows to you with ease. Sleep is far more than a simple cessation of activity or a pause in the physical body's labor. It is a sacred, potent state in which the mind, freed from the constraints of daily thought, becomes a receptive instrument for the manifestation of divine abundance. In this quiet, hushed space, where the noise of the world fades and the demands of waking life dissolve, the subconscious opens its doors fully, welcoming the impressions of infinite supply and prosperity. The moment you allow yourself to drift into sleep, you enter a dimension where limitation cannot follow, where the inner ear begins to hear the melodies of opportunity, and the unseen currents of wealth begin their patient and precise arrangement on your behalf. Sleep, in its highest and most productive form, is not merely a physical necessity, but a spiritual instrument, a bridge between the finite understanding of the conscious mind and the boundless wisdom and power of the unseen. Every night, as the body relaxes and the breath slows, the mind moves into a receptive state. In this state, the subconscious, which is the creative workshop of life, becomes fully attuned to the thoughts, beliefs, and feelings you have cultivated. If your thoughts are aligned with limitation, scarcity, or worry, those impressions are impressed upon the inner mind and may manifest as experiences of lack. But if your thoughts are filled with expectation, faith, and gratitude for the wealth that already surrounds you, the subconscious takes these impressions and begins to orchestrate the necessary arrangements in the unseen world to bring them into your experience. Sleep, therefore, is the golden window through which the invisible forces of prosperity operate, a time when your conscious mind rests, but the deeper mind is alive with the movement of creation. Consider the simple act of lying down in peace, releasing the tensions of the day, and breathing with calm awareness. In these moments, the mind becomes quiet, the heart opens, and the spirit rises in subtle awareness of the divine abundance that flows without effort or interruption. Each heartbeat becomes a drumbeat of alignment, each exhale a release of resistance, and each inhale a silent affirmation of the richness that already exists in your life. The law of abundance does not require struggle or striving, it requires receptivity. And sleep, with its gentle and natural surrender, cultivates the ultimate receptive state. The mind, unencumbered by conscious thought, allows the seeds of wealth to take root in the fertile soil of the subconscious. In this quiet state, the imagination, which is the workshop of all creation, becomes a powerful ally. The images you hold in the mind during sleep are not idle fantasies but potent signals sent to the creative intelligence of the universe. When you imagine yourself living in ease, experiencing abundance, and enjoying the flow of divine supply, you are impressing these truths upon the deepest layers of your being. The subconscious, which cannot distinguish between imagined and literal experiences, accepts these visions as real and begins to arrange circumstances, ideas, and opportunities to bring them into physical expression. Therefore, your sleep is never a wasted time. It is a time when your inner vision can freely paint the life you desire, and the unseen forces begin to work in alignment with those impressions. Gratitude is another essential element that strengthens the work of sleep in attracting abundance. When the mind rests in the awareness of all good already received, the subconscious is impressed with the certainty that more is always coming. Each thought of gratitude, even while drifting toward unconsciousness, acts as a magnet, drawing circumstances, people, and opportunities into your life that correspond with your appreciation. Sleep becomes a fertile period for this silent acknowledgement of wealth, where the mind, free from external distractions, dwells in the certainty of abundance, amplifying the signals that attract more good. The process of releasing worry and tension before sleep is equally vital. Every doubt, fear, or anxious thought acts as a barrier, obscuring the natural flow of prosperity. When the body relaxes, when the mind releases the struggle for control, and when the spirit surrenders to trust, the channels of supply become open and unimpeded. Sleep allows you to disengage from the limited perspective of the conscious mind, which may see only obstacles, and instead tune into the limitless possibilities of the divine intelligence operating in your favor. The laws of abundance are consistent, unwavering, and responsive, but they require a mind that is clear, receptive, and confident. As you drift deeper into slumber, the invisible currents of wealth begin to move with precision and care. Opportunities are aligned, inspirations arrive in subtle whispers, and ideas that may have seemed impossible in the waking state appear effortlessly in the mind. Every cell of your being resonates with the vibration of abundance. Each synapse in the brain aligns with the patterns of divine intelligence, and the entire organism becomes a vessel through which prosperity flows naturally. Sleep, then, is not only a period of rest but a period of active creation, a sacred interval where the inner world shapes the outer reality in harmony with your highest vision. The key to utilizing sleep as a tool for wealth is conscious awareness of its power. By preparing the mind with thoughts of faith, images of success, and feelings of gratitude before sleep, you create an environment where the subconscious can act without obstruction. The body, having completed its cycle of physical renewal, becomes a silent witness to the creative work of the inner mind. Dreams, intuitions, and insights often arise during this time, guiding you with subtle direction toward actions, decisions, and opportunities that align with your prosperity. Sleep is a divine partnership between rest and creation, where the laws of the universe work in your favor while you are in a state of effortless surrender. In every restful night, there exists the promise of abundance, the opportunity to tune into the wealth frequency, and the chance to awaken with ideas, inspiration, and a renewed alignment with the infinite supply. Each night's sleep is a rehearsal for waking life, where the subconscious rehearses the conditions of prosperity until they are ready to manifest. By honoring sleep as more than rest, by seeing it as a sacred instrument of creation, you invite the full power of your inner mind to work for you, ensuring that each day begins not in struggle but in a flow of wealth, guidance, and infinite possibilities. Wealth is not merely the accumulation of money, possessions, or status. It is a vibration, a frequency that exists independently of circumstance, waiting for every individual to attune to its rhythm. This frequency is subtle yet powerful, an unseen current that flows continuously and universally, responding to the thoughts, feelings, and beliefs that one carries. It is not something to be chased or grasped by force, for force only meets resistance. Instead, it is something to be recognized, harmonized with, and allowed to permeate every aspect of one's life. The moment a mind begins to understand that abundance is a vibrational reality rather than a physical struggle, the entire landscape of wealth begins to shift. One's inner world, when aligned with this frequency, acts as a magnet, drawing circumstances, people, and opportunities that resonate with the same rhythm of prosperity. The frequency of wealth exists as an energetic principle, responding to vibration rather than external appearances. It does not discriminate based on background, age, or status. It responds only to alignment. When the mind is tuned to scarcity, to fear, or to limitation, it sends out signals that repel abundance. When the mind is tuned to expectation, to faith, and to creative imagination, it emits signals that attract prosperity effortlessly. This understanding transforms the very act of pursuing wealth into an act of resonance. One does not struggle against the world, but instead adjusts their inner vibration to match the abundance that already exists. To live in this frequency is to live in a state of expectation and receptivity, where the mind becomes a channel through which infinite supply can flow without obstruction. To attune oneself to the wealth frequency requires conscious cultivation of thought. Every idea, word, and feeling carries a vibrational signature, and it is through these signatures that the subconscious mind and the universe respond. When a person dwells on thoughts of limitation, they reinforce the vibration of lack, establishing patterns that the subconscious obediently follows. Conversely, when one nurtures thoughts of prosperity, generosity, and gratitude, these vibrations are communicated to the unseen forces, which begin to rearrange circumstances to match the inner reality. The key is not the external evidence of wealth, but the internal conviction of its presence. The mind, when aligned, becomes a tuning fork, resonating with the vibration of abundance and calling it into manifestation. Feeling is the language through which the wealth frequency is most clearly understood. The subconscious mind does not respond to mere words or intellectual arguments. It responds to feeling, to the emotional resonance of belief. To truly attune to the frequency of abundance, one must cultivate the feeling of already having, the sensation of being provided for, and the joy of living in a state of prosperity. Imagination serves as a vehicle for this feeling, allowing one to paint vivid mental pictures of success, comfort, and freedom. When these images are coupled with genuine emotion, the vibration becomes potent and irresistible, establishing a magnetic field that AT&T racks the conditions and circumstances that reflect the same harmony. Faith operates as the stabilizing principle in this alignment. Without faith, the mind oscillates between hope and doubt, weakening the signal sent to the universe. Faith is not merely belief in the unseen. It is unwavering trust in the natural order of abundance and in the intelligence of life that constantly provides. When one sleeps, meditates, or simply rests in this faith, the frequency of wealth continues to circulate through the inner mind, influencing thoughts, dreams, and intuitions. Faith transforms passive hope into active alignment, establishing a clear pathway for prosperity to flow effortlessly, and it protects the individual from the disturbances of fear or scarcity that can interrupt the vibrational harmony. Gratitude is the amplifier of this frequency. The conscious recognition of all good, even in small measures, magnifies the vibration of wealth. Gratitude signals to the inner mind that abundance is already present, that supply is not distant but immediate. By practicing thankfulness consistently, one strengthens the resonance of prosperity, making it increasingly visible in everyday life. The practice is simple yet profound. Acknowledge what exists, feel its presence deeply, and the frequency of wealth responds by bringing more of the same. In this way, the mind becomes a perpetual receiver and transmitter of abundance, reinforcing the vibrational cycle that manifests prosperity with fluidity and grace. The wealth frequency is not static, it is dynamic, responsive, and intimate with one's inner state. It is influenced by thoughts, emotions, and beliefs, yet it also has the power to transform these inner conditions. When one attunes to this vibration, it begins to reshape thinking patterns, dissolve doubts, and inspire creative solutions to challenges. Opportunities that once seemed hidden or impossible appear with clarity. Synchronicities emerge, coincidences become guided alignments, and a sense of ease permeates the pursuit of prosperity. This frequency operates silently, invisibly, yet with absolute reliability, rewarding those who consciously harmonize themselves with it and patiently maintain the alignment. One of the most profound aspects of attuning to the wealth frequency is the understanding that it is a state of being rather than doing. Abundance is not a consequence of effort alone. It is a reflection of inner alignment. Action remains necessary, but it is action guided and supported by the vibration of prosperity rather than action born of fear or desperation. When the mind, heart, and spirit resonate with wealth, every decision, every movement, and every initiative aligns naturally with the flow of good. Work becomes inspired, ideas become fruitful, and opportunities present themselves in forms that align with one's highest good. The frequency of wealth also nurtures generosity, and the understanding that abundance is circulatory in nature. To give freely without fear is to reinforce the vibration of prosperity. The act of sharing, offering, or assisting others in meaningful ways strengthens the resonance of abundance, creating a continuous loop where giving and receiving are part of the same energetic principle. Wealth, in this sense, is not hoarded or fought for. It is received, enjoyed, and shared, all while the frequency of infinite supply remains unbroken and ever-present. Attuning to this frequency requires persistent awareness and mindful practice. Daily thoughts, conscious imaginations, and heartfelt emotions must be guided with clarity toward abundance. The mind, once trained to recognize and maintain this vibration, begins to operate automatically in alignment with prosperity. Challenges no longer feel like obstacles, but become opportunities for the frequency to express itself through creative solutions. Doubts and fears are recognized as temporary disturbances, easily corrected by a return to faith, gratitude, and imaginative focus. The most remarkable truth about the wealth frequency is its accessibility to all. There is no requirement of prior achievement, education, or external approval. The frequency is impartial, responding only to alignment. Those who understand this principle begin to experience wealth not as a distant goal, but as a natural state of being. Their lives unfold with ease, filled with opportunities, inspiration, and evidence of abundance. It is a law of the inner and outer worlds, a rhythm that, once recognized and harmonized with, ensures that prosperity flows continuously, creatively, and generously into every aspect of life. Releasing fear, doubt, and resistance is the cornerstone of allowing prosperity to flow naturally into one's life. Every person is born with an innate connection to abundance, yet this connection is often obstructed by layers of mental and emotional resistance. Fear acts as a barrier, doubt clouds clarity, and resistance, whether conscious or unconscious, prevents the smooth circulation of opportunity and wealth. To experience true prosperity, one must understand that the universe operates through an unbroken law of supply. Always available, always responsive, and always in alignment with the inner state of the individual. When fear is present, it signals to the inner mind that scarcity is real and that lack is to be expected. Doubt weakens the vibrational signal, sending mixed messages to the unseen forces, while resistance, often rooted in past disappointments or limiting beliefs, blocks the flow entirely. The first and most essential step in attracting abundance is therefore the conscious decision to release these impediments, recognizing them for what they truly are, illusory obstacles that have no power over the inherent supply of life. Fear, in its many forms, is perhaps the most pervasive hindrance to prosperity. Fear of not having enough, fear of making mistakes, fear of the unknown, and fear of loss are all variations of the same underlying energy that tells the mind that it is separate from the limitless supply of the universe. This fear manifests in tension, worry, and an insistence on control, all of which oppose the natural flow of abundance. To release fear, one must acknowledge it without judgment, recognize its illusory nature, and consciously replace it with trust and faith in the infinite intelligence that governs life. Fear cannot coexist with faith. The two energies are mutually exclusive. When one chooses faith over fear, a vibrational shift occurs in the mind, body, and spirit. The subconscious, which responds to the prevailing emotional state, begins to realign itself with abundance, preparing the ground for prosperity to take root. Doubt is another subtle yet powerful barrier to wealth. Doubt creeps into the mind as hesitation, second-guessing, and uncertainty. It may appear as questioning whether one is capable, whether one deserves success, or whether opportunity will manifest. Every act of doubt sends conflicting messages to the inner mind, which relies on clarity and consistency to organize circumstances in alignment with one's desires. The law of the subconscious is absolute. It cannot negotiate with indecision or uncertainty. When doubt is allowed to persist, it creates a vacuum in which fear can grow, further obstructing the natural flow of abundance. To overcome doubt, one must cultivate unwavering belief in the inherent abundance of life and in one's ability to receive it. Affirmation, visualization, and the consistent practice of gratitude strengthen faith, diminishing the power of doubt and reinforcing a vibrational state that magnetizes prosperity. Resistance is perhaps the most insidious form of blockage because it is often unconscious. It can appear as hesitation to act, clinging to old habits, or attachment to outdated ideas of limitation. Resistance is born from familiarity, from the comfort of remaining in patterns that feel known even when they no longer serve one's highest good. It may manifest as procrastination, indecision, or rationalization, subtle ways the mind maintains the illusion of control while ignoring the guidance of abundance. The subconscious interprets resistance as a signal that one is not ready to receive, and thus the flow of wealth is delayed or diverted. To release resistance, one must cultivate awareness, observe habitual patterns, and consciously choose to step into new behaviors, thoughts, and beliefs that align with prosperity. Change may feel uncomfortable at first, but it is a necessary adjustment to allow the unobstructed circulation of supply. The act of release is not passive, it is an active process of conscious decision. It begins with acknowledgement, seeing fear, doubt, and resistance clearly, without attempting to suppress or deny them. Suppression only drives these energies deeper into the subconscious, where they continue to influence behavior and vibrational frequency. Instead, one recognizes their presence, examines their origins, and consciously affirms that they are not necessary for survival or success. The next step is substitution, replacing limiting energies with their opposites: faith, certainty, trust, and willingness. Every thought, emotion, and action that supports abundance strengthens the flow, while every thought of lack weakens it. The mind, once trained to recognize the illusion of limitation, begins to operate in harmony with the unseen currents of prosperity. Releasing fear, doubt, and resistance also requires the cultivation of trust in the intelligence of life. The universe does not work through struggle or effort, it works through alignment. The more one aligns internally with the vibration of abundance, the more effortlessly circumstances, people, and opportunities begin to arrange themselves. Trust is the bridge between the known and the unknown, between the visible and the invisible. Without trust, fear and doubt persist, and resistance strengthens its hold. With trust, the mind becomes a fertile field in which the seeds of prosperity can flourish without interruption. Each moment spent resisting is a moment that diverts energy from creation and reinforces limitation. Each moment spent trusting and surrendering strengthens the current of supply and opens the doors of opportunity. Emotional mastery is essential in this process. Fear, doubt, and resistance are fundamentally emotional energies, and emotions carry vibrational weight. By observing one's emotional state and choosing to cultivate feelings of peace, security, gratitude, and expectation, one shifts the vibration of the entire being. The subconscious mind responds to dominant feelings, not mere words or intellectual reasoning. Therefore, conscious cultivation of emotion is the key to releasing the barriers that block abundance. Techniques such as visualization, affirmations, meditation, and mindfulness are tools to reinforce these positive states, training the mind to default to alignment rather than limitation. Another important aspect of releasing these barriers is forgiveness. Often, fear and doubt are rooted in past experiences, disappointments, or perceived failures. Resistance may be tied to past habits, conditioning, or self-judgment. By forgiving oneself and others for perceived shortcomings or past events, one frees the inner mind from attachments. Hat perpetuates scarcity thinking. Forgiveness is a liberation, clearing the emotional and mental space necessary for abundance to circulate freely. It signals to the subconscious that one is ready to receive and participate fully in the wealth that the universe offers. Action, aligned with trust and clarity, is also part of this release. Releasing fear, doubt, and resistance does not mean passivity. It means stepping forward with confidence, guided by intuition and inspiration rather than anxiety or compulsion. Each action taken in alignment with the inner sense of abundance reinforces the vibrational state and communicates readiness to the universe. As alignment strengthens, so does clarity. As clarity strengthens, so does the ease with which inspired action can be taken. By consciously letting go of fear, doubt, and resistance, one transforms not only the outer circumstances of life but also the inner landscape of the mind and spirit. Barriers dissolve, clarity emerges, and the natural flow of prosperity is restored. The process is continual, requiring vigilance and self-awareness, yet the rewards are immeasurable. The mind becomes a receptive instrument, the emotions harmonize with the vibration of supply, and the inner self aligns with the infinite intelligence that governs wealth. This alignment allows abundance to move unimpeded, revealing that prosperity is not earned through struggle, but realized through the conscious release of what obstructs it, creating a life that flows with effortless and continuous good. Abundance is not something distant or conditional, it is the birthright of every human being. From the moment of creation, the universe has supplied life with an infinite reservoir of good, waiting for each individual to recognize and claim it. Every law of life, every principle of the unseen, and every law of the subconscious operates under the Asura. NCE that supply is limitless. There is never a moment when the universe is depleted, or when the flow of prosperity ceases. The finite mind may perceive limitation, scarcity, or lack, but this perception is only an illusion created by the untrained thought. The truth of abundance is eternal, unchanging, and wholly accessible, and the first step to experiencing it fully is the conscious recognition that it exists inherently within and around every individual. To understand that abundance is one's birthright is to release all ideas of struggle as the means to acquire prosperity. Many people labor under the mistaken belief that wealth must be earned through exhaustive effort, hardship, or competition. While action and initiative are necessary, they are not the source of abundance, they are merely instruments for expressing it. True abundance flows naturally when the inner mind is aligned with the law of supply. It requires no struggle, no pleading, no desperate grasping. It is the natural state of life, as the sun rises without effort and the rivers flow without question. Recognizing abundance as a birthright shifts the focus from lack to sufficiency, from effort to alignment, and from fear to expectation. This awareness becomes a fertile ground in which prosperity can flourish spontaneously, without forced effort or anxious striving. The subconscious mind plays a pivotal role in manifesting the reality of abundance. This mind, which governs thought patterns, habits, and emotional responses, is highly obedient and operates under the principle that what is impressed upon it will be brought into manifestation. When a person believes that abundance is their birthright, the subconscious mind accepts this as truth and begins to organize circumstances in harmony with that belief. Every thought of lack, limitation, or unworthiness must be identified and replaced with thoughts of sufficiency, capability, and divine provision. It is through the continuous reinforcement of these inner impressions that the mind becomes a conduit for the constant flow of wealth, attracting opportunities, people, and resources that reflect the internal state of abundance. Faith is a crucial element in claiming abundance as a birthright. Without faith, the mind wavers, the emotions fluctuate, and the signal sent to the universe becomes inconsistent. Faith is not mere wishful thinking. It is the unwavering conviction that life, by its very nature, is abundant, and that the unseen forces are actively working to supply every need. Faith allows the individual to remain centered and confident, even when external circumstances appear contrary. It strengthens the vibrational signal that communicates readiness to receive and reinforces the alignment with the infinite supply of life. Each act of faith, each moment of trust, strengthens the inner connection to abundance, ensuring that prosperity flows unhindered by doubt or hesitation. Gratitude amplifies the awareness of abundance. When one consciously acknowledges the good already present, the subconscious mind is impressed with the reality that supply is not distant, but immediate. Gratitude magnifies the perception of wealth, making it increasingly visible in daily life. Even small recognitions of blessings, health, relationships, opportunities, or comfort serve as magnets for more. The practice of gratitude shifts attention from scarcity to plenty, from what is missing to what is already supplied. This shift in focus is critical because the mind responds to dominant thought patterns, and by emphasizing abundance through appreciation, one reinforces the inner state that attracts continual prosperity. Understanding abundance as a birthright also requires the release of comparison and envy. Many individuals measure their worth or success against the achievements of others, creating a sense of lack and competition. In truth, abundance is not limited. It is not a pie that can be divided or exhausted. Each person's provision is unique, and the law of supply ensures that no one is deprived because another receives. By releasing comparison and focusing on one's own alignment with the inner flow of prosperity, the mind becomes free to recognize opportunities and resources without obstruction. This freedom allows creativity, intuition, and inspired action to flourish, further reinforcing the natural manifestation of wealth. The energy of abundance is self-reinforcing. When one operates in awareness of their birthright, confidence grows, decisions become easier, and actions align with opportunity. The more one recognizes the inherent supply, the more effortlessly prosperity is experienced. This is why affirmations, visualizations, and meditative practices are effective. They continually remind the mind of its natural state of plenty. By repeatedly impressing upon the subconscious that abundance is constant and personal, the individual strengthens the vibrational harmony with infinite supply. Over time, the mind ceases to question provision and simply receives, reflecting the effortless law by which the universe operates. Generosity is also a natural expression of recognizing abundance as a birthright. To give freely is not to risk lack, but to participate in the circulatory nature of supply. The universe operates on principles of giving and receiving, and acts of generosity reinforce the awareness that wealth is limitless. When one shares without hesitation, without fear of depletion, and without expectation of return, they affirm the truth of abundance and invite more into their life. Generosity becomes an expression of trust, a tangible demonstration of alignment with the law of supply, and a reinforcement of the inner conviction that prosperity is ever present. Clarity of thought and vision further strengthens the awareness of abundance. The mind must be directed consciously toward what is desired, free from clutter, confusion, and limiting beliefs. Clear, focused intention impresses the subconscious, which then coordinates circumstances to match that clarity. Confusion, contradictory desires, or scattered attention weaken the vibrational signal, causing delay or frustration. When one aligns intention with faith, feeling, and expectation, the inner and outer worlds synchronize, producing effortless manifestations of supply in accordance with one's birthright. Patience is an integral component of recognizing and experiencing abundance. Though supply is infinite, its manifestation often requires timing, preparation, and alignment. Impatience, worry, or desperate striving can interfere with the natural flow. By cultivating trust and maintaining alignment, the individual allows abundance to arrive in its perfect form and timing. Every day, every moment, is an opportunity to reinforce the understanding that supply is constant, that the universe is responsive, and that the birthright of prosperity is unalterable. By continually affirming the truth of limitless provision, by aligning thought, feeling, and action with the vibration of supply, and by embracing gratitude, faith, clarity, and generosity, one begins to live fully in the awareness of abundance. The recognition that wealth, opportunity, and good flow naturally as one's birthright transforms the mind, reshapes perception, and opens the channels for prosperity to move freely. This understanding is not dependent on circumstance, achievement, or external validation, for it arises from the eternal truth that life itself is an inexhaustible reservoir of good, ever ready to provide for all who align themselves with its principles. Resting in alignment with wealth ensures that when one awakens, the mind, body, and spirit are fully attuned to the flow of abundance, carrying a refreshed clarity and a heightened receptivity to opportunities. The state of rest, whether during sleep or periods of quiet meditation, is a sacred time in which the subconscious mind becomes the primary instrument of creation. While the conscious mind may release its control and cease active problem-solving, the deeper mind continues to operate with perfect precision, arranging circumstances and opening pathways for prosperity according to the dominant beliefs and emotions impressed upon it. This alignment during rest is a vital practice, for it allows the individual to enter each day with a natural resonance that attracts wealth effortlessly, without struggle, resistance, or anxious striving. Resting in alignment is therefore not idleness. It is a deliberate cultivation of vibrational harmony with the universal supply, preparing the individual to receive the bounty that is already present and waiting. When the body and mind are at rest, the critical element is the cultivation of inner stillness. This stillness is a receptive state, a quiet surrender in which the mind refrains from disputing or controlling outcomes. In this state, the subconscious mind can freely operate, organizing circumstances to reflect the inner alignment of thought, feeling, and intention. Every worry, every anxious thought, and every tension held in the body acts as a distortion in the flow of abundance, creating resistance to the natural currents of wealth. Conversely, when the individual intentionally releases these burdens, consciously affirming trust in the infinite supply, the channels of prosperity remain unobstructed. Rest in alignment, therefore, is a practice of intentional surrender, a recognition that abundance flows most effortlessly when the mind and heart are free from struggle, fear, and doubt. Visualization plays a significant role in maintaining alignment with wealth during rest. As one prepares to sleep or enters periods of deep relaxation, the mind can be filled with vivid images of success, prosperity, and the fulfillment of desires. The subconscious mind does not differentiate between physical reality and the reality imagined with conviction and emotion. Therefore, by holding clear mental pictures of abundance while resting, the individual impresses these truths upon the inner mind, which then begins to organize ideas, opportunities, and circumstances to bring them into manifestation. Visualization acts as a bridge between inner alignment and outer reality, ensuring that the state of rest is not passive, but a potent period of creation in which the seeds of prosperity are planted and nurtured. The feeling of certainty is essential in sustaining alignment with wealth. While thoughts and visualizations are important, it is the emotional conviction that determines the strength. GTS of the vibrational signal. To rest in alignment, one must cultivate the feeling of already possessing abundance, the inner knowing that supply is constant, and the peace of trusting that all needs are met. This emotional state becomes the language of the subconscious and the universe, communicating readiness to receive and creating a magnetic field that draws circumstances in harmony with this resonance. Resting while feeling this certainty deepens the alignment, allowing the natural intelligence of life to arrange opportunities and resources in perfect order without the interference of conscious struggle. Gratitude is another key element in maintaining alignment during rest. By reflecting on the good already present, even in moments of quiet or sleep, the mind sends a signal that abundance is real and ongoing. Gratitude strengthens the vibrational harmony with prosperity, amplifying the flow of opportunities, insights, and resources that correspond to one's desires. Even subtle acknowledgments of daily blessings, health, comfort, relationships, inspiration, serve as a reinforcement of alignment. In this way, rest becomes a fertile period for cultivating appreciation, which in turn attracts more to be grateful for, creating a continuous and self-reinforcing cycle of abundance. Releasing attachment to outcomes is a crucial aspect of resting in alignment with wealth. Many individuals unconsciously hold tension by clinging to specific results, insisting that success must appear in a certain way or within a certain time frame. This attachment generates resistance, which blocks the effortless flow of supply. By contrast, those who practice restful alignment cultivate trust that the universe arranges opportunities in the best possible manner, often exceeding expectations. This detachment from specific outcomes allows the subconscious to operate creatively and intelligently, organizing circumstances in ways that may surpass conscious planning. Resting without attachment does not mean passivity. It means confidence that the creative intelligence of life is orchestrating the fulfillment of every need and desire with perfect wisdom. Faith functions as the stabilizing force in this process. Even while resting, faith sustains the alignment of mind, heart, and spirit, keeping the vibrational signal consistent and strong. Fear, doubt, or worry can easily infiltrate the mind if faith is weak, disturbing the harmony necessary for prosperity to flow. Faith ensures that the subconscious continues its work unimpeded, that inspiration and intuition are clear, and that opportunities are recognized and acted upon waking. It is the assurance that supply is constant, the recognition that the universe is responsive, and the trust that all arrangements are made for one's highest good. The principle of inspired action is closely tied to resting in alignment with wealth. Rest does not imply inaction in life, but a preparation of mind and spirit that enables action to be inspired, effective, and fruitful. When one awakens from a state of restful alignment, the mind is clear, the intuition is sharpened, and the energy is directed efficiently toward opportunities that harmonize with abundance. Actions taken from this place of alignment are not forced or desperate. They are guided, confident, and naturally productive. The periods of rest, therefore, are directly linked to the efficiency and effectiveness of waking endeavors, demonstrating that alignment and receptivity during quiet moments magnify results in the physical realm. Repetition and consistency are essential in training the mind to rest in alignment with wealth. Each night, each period of meditation or quiet reflection serves as reinforcement of the vibrational state. By consistently directing thoughts, feelings, and intentions toward abundance while resting, one strengthens the subconscious impression and deepens the alignment. Over time, the mind begins to default to a state of receptive expectancy, a natural magnetism for prosperity, which continues even outside conscious effort. This habitual alignment ensures that opportunities, ideas, and resources are continuously attracted, allowing the individual to live in a flow of wealth that is effortless and sustainable. Patience and trust further enhance the power of rest in attracting abundance. Supply does not always manifest immediately in the physical sense, yet the vibrational alignment established during rest continues to operate invisibly. Each restful period strengthens the subconscious organization of circumstances, even when the outer evidence is not immediately apparent. Trust in the process allows the mind to remain undisturbed by appearances, maintaining harmony with the universal flow. Patience allows the inner alignment to mature and solidify, ensuring that manifestations, when they appear, are complete, sufficient, and harmonious with one's highest good. Resting in alignment with wealth also encourages the refinement of personal awareness and sensitivity to guidance. During periods of deep rest, intuition and inner knowing become more pronounced, allowing subtle signals, ideas, and inspirations to emerge. These intuitive insights often guide the individual toward opportunities, relationships, and actions that align perfectly with the flow of prosperity. By cultivating the habit of entering rest with intention, openness, and clarity, one trains the mind and spirit to recognize and act upon these insights consistently, enhancing the seamless integration of inner alignment and outer abundance. Energy conservation is another vital benefit of resting in alignment. By allowing the body and mind to rejuvenate while maintaining inner focus on abundance, one preserves vitality and enhances mental acuity, emotional stability, and spiritual clarity. This replenishment supports sustained action, better decision-making, and more effective engagement with opportunities. The energy that would otherwise be dissipated through worry, fear, or scattered attention is instead conserved, magnified, and directed toward the creation of wealth and the fulfillment of goals. By consistently resting in alignment with wealth, one gradually cultivates a life in which abundance flows naturally, effortlessly, and continuously. The mind is clear, the heart is open, the spirit is receptive, and the subconscious is fully engaged in the orchestration of prosperity. Opportunities, ideas, and inspirations are recognized immediately, action is guided and inspired, and the individual experiences a heightened sense of ease, confidence, and clarity in all endeavors. This habitual alignment transforms rest into a creative instrument, a silent yet powerful force that ensures the manifestation of abundance in every area of life.